Hey folks, well, it's come that time. We're gonna change the fluid on our Tremec TKX. I just saw a recent video from Kevin Shaw at Mopar Connection on YouTube. He's got a pretty good channel. And his Charger, his 69 Charger, I think he calls it Brazen, he did the TKX conversion, and he had, I think he had put like probably 250 to 500 miles. I can't remember. But it reminded me, Kevin, thank you for putting that video out. It reminded me, hey, you need to change the fluid in yours. So I think coming back from the Bristow Mopar meet a couple weeks ago, we did the Route 66 tour, and I put this in, I think 2 years ago. We did a long video on putting this TKX from Silver Sport transmissions in this car. So as much as I drove it around Texas and then been driving it up here in Oklahoma and Arkansas, I have put, I think, probably about 480 miles on it. So it's time to go ahead and change the fluid. I've watched some videos from some guys with Mustangs and other cars with, you know, they're twisting their engines at like 8,000 RPM. I don't do any of that. It is a solid roller, big block, but I guess in my older age, I don't get out and get crazy with the high RPM shifts. But nevertheless, it needs to be changed. It's gone through the broken period. They say that you'll see some silver or some brass, probably from the synchronizers. So we're going to find out. I'm probably going to try to put a towel in here. It's really easy. Tremec made it really easy. So obviously this is the drain right here. You just use your square drive on your 3/8 drive ratchet. So we're going to get ready to drain this thing. We're going to take this out right here, and then when we go to fill it, same thing, just goes, you take this one out and then you put the fluid in. Now the fluid we're going to put in, when it comes to fluids, I don't make guesses. I don't try to basically go with cheap or go with, hey, so-and-so said this. I go with what the manufacturer said, especially when you spend $7,000 or more on one of these units. You want to take care of it. So I went to Silver Sports site, and this is the replacement fluid that's from Tremec. Manual transmission fluid. It's probably automatic transmission fluid of some sort, but it probably has the certain additives that are required. So we're going to put this in. We're going to replace the old fluid, but I'm about to drain it, and I'm going to put a towel in there, and we're going to see what it looks like when it comes out. I know it's going to go down my arm and into my armpit. And here she comes. Well, it looks red so far. It actually looks pretty good. Let's see what comes out towards the end. There she goes. A little burping. And of course it's spraying on me, but that's okay. Well, so far a good sign. I don't see any chunks. I don't see big brass pieces or anything coming out. But I think the questionable garage guy, he had one of these as well. I don't know if it was a TKX in his Try-Hard Duster that he put the LS, the Gen 3 Hemi, and the Coyote motor in. And he actually damaged it by doing some 8,000 RPM no clutch shifts, which they tell you not to do. And he said, hey, it was all my fault, but man, he's really good. He rebuilt that transmission, put it back in that car behind that Gen 3 stroker, and it ran great. So let's see if I can feel anything. I just feel slick stuff right there. Okay, we're gonna let this drain, and we're gonna see if we find anything on our blue paper towel. All right. I'm just kind of holding the towel up here and seeing if I can find any chunks or any pieces of metal flake, gold. not seeing it. Bubbles. Guys, I just don't see anything. So I'm sure maybe there are some pieces maybe my blind eyes don't see it, but it looks like it's pretty clean. Okay. Well, that's a good sign, I guess. And by the way, you know, I've ran the car really good. It's not like I grandpa the car. I mean, I'm not going to build that engine and not have fun with it. But I don't do high RPM, sidestepped clutch like Ronnie Socks. I'm not that good of a driver. So I had a 5.0 Mustang back in the early 90s. And I remember doing a lot of high RPM shifts and for what that car was. And I do remember when we got ready to trade that thing in, every time you go into third gear, it would grind. And that was my fault. You know, I abused that car pretty good. But that was just a regular Tremec from back in those days. This new and these TKXs are built to handle lots of torque. Jeff at Silver Sport, when I told him, you know, we need something to handle about 650 foot-pounds of torque, he said, no problem. You know, guys with their big block Chevelles and probably Cobra Jet Mustangs, you know, they're putting out big-time power as well and probably speed shifting. They don't seem to have any problems. So I hadn't had any problems, knock on wood. So now we're going to go ahead and replace the fluid. Wow, this is different than transmission fluid, or ATF. It looks different anyway. Interesting. Cord in, and it's going in fine. One thing I learned on Questionable Garage Guy when he was overhauling his TKX is that there it is right there. So you see I'm stopping right now. So it is obviously full. And the reason why this is important, I learned from Kevin, not Kevin, the guy on Questionable Garage. I'm sorry I can't remember his name, but if you see this video, fella, forgive me, but you got a good channel. If you overfill it, you'll force it into the shifter area. There's a little area where the shifter's at, and it'll go off into that area, and it'll just pool up. And that's why you don't want to overfill it. And I'm gonna let it sit here and actually just drain out just a little bit. I think we just barely. So I ended up with maybe 3.5 of these. I think there's it came with 4 of them. So I probably used 3.5. At least mine did. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this residual in here because I'll keep this on our shelf. But this tool is actually pretty darn good. It's of course being cantankerous right now, but you know, this could be a pain in the butt finding something to when you do rear ends and transmissions. Try to get this thing off. Give me a second and I'll get this off. Well, I'm gonna leave it now. But this tool is from Mighty Vac, and I think I paid like maybe $40 from Summit. This thing works pretty good. It's here's the brand right here called Mighty Vac, and again I think I spent $40 on it, and it works pretty good. I'm not very good at reading directions because I'm a dumbass sometimes. But when I first used it, I didn't pay attention. It's got an open and close. So when we were putting the high point in the manual transmission fluid in the dart, we had to sit here and hold this and juggle it. And because I didn't open my eyes and look to actually closing this valve. So guys, read the directions. Most of you do. I'm bad about not doing it a lot of times. So anyway, I hope that hope you guys got something out of this. I'm going to drive it a little later today, and I'll finish this video after I drive it, and we do a little video. I'm going to let it drain, and then I'll put the plug in. Not drain, but let some of this seep out, and then I'll clean everything up. what's interesting is, okay, let's see. We're just going to turn around here for a second. Now this transmission fluid, this manual from Tremec, is obviously more of a oil-based, or I guess, I don't know if it's high fluid based or what, but geez, it went into reverse real smooth. Not that it did before, but it's almost a little clicky, because if you guys manual transmissions know what I'm talking about. But I think there's maybe a little bit of a difference here. We're just gonna drive it down the road, drive it normal. But there's definitely a difference. The fluid you saw, the fluid that came out was automatic transmission fluid of some sort. That's what came with the transmission that they told me to put in it. And that's for the break-in period. So I assume that's what they want you to break it in with. And then this oil is what you use to I guess, for the rest of the life of the transmission. So let's see how it runs the shift. So far, so good. I don't hear any noises. You guys saw the fluid come out. I didn't have any chunks, or well, some guys see, but they're doing a lot of higher RPM shifting, and I'm not doing that. I'm in third right now. There's 3,000. Oh, it feels good. I mean, I don't have, again, I'm trying to get the engine to warm up a little bit. This old big block takes a while to warm up. All you big block guys know the struggle. These big blocks, unless it's summertime, Texas or something, they don't like to warm up real fast. The snipers let me know. Downshift, yeah, downshift feels good. Yeah, I mean, so far so good. Get some heat in the motor before I maybe put a little RPM to it. When I get to about 160 on the sniper, oh yeah, I feel really good on the downshift. It feels really good. Okay, I've got some heat in it. The sniper says I'm at 160, so I'm at 2,500. And third, let's get down and I don't want to make all my neighbors too mad. Let's see. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty good. I'd say that's pretty good. Yeah, it feels really good going into. I do notice a difference in the downshift. I don't know if that's just. Yeah, it definitely has a really smooth downshift to it. I'm going to turn around over here. Yeah. Oh yeah. All right, big boy. Go down. Whoa now. One good thing, another things I've ever done to this car. The manners and everything, which it acts. So there you have it, folks. About 500 miles on the Tremec on the TKX. And so far, so good. Changed the fluid, put the new fluid from Tremec in there after the 500 miles. It looks like it was ATF that they sent with me to, break the transmission in with the synchros. I think it did its job. I didn't find any chunks, which I think are probably good. Tells me that everything really sunk in and broke in well. Just took it on a little drive. I think I may have shifted at 4,000. I wouldn't try. These roads, it's dangerous, and with this car, you can't just really get stupid with it. But it seems, I would say the difference with putting that newer fluid in there, the only difference I see is it seems like the downshifts are real smooth. When I go, say, from fourth to third or third to second, the upshifts, I would say, are probably still about the same. It's not like it's real buttery. That's the only way I can say. Mushy. It clicks going into the gears. But I think that's what it's supposed to do. And there's no grinding. Even when I was in fourth gear, going from second to third, third to fourth, it shifted like it was supposed to. I'm not running socks, and I'm not one of those badass speed shifters, but it's doing its job. So, 500 mile review, TKO or TKX from Silver Sport. It's a great product. Like I said, the two best things done in this car is EFI and the 5-speed manual transmission, namely because it's got the overdrive. And I do like to shift gears in an old muscle car. So that's it. Hey, everybody, have a great Father's Day. If you got a muscle car or an old truck or an old hot rod, get out there and drive it because it'll put smiles on your face. It's Father's Day, and that's what they're for. They're not made to look at. They're made to drive. So everybody have a great Father's Day. Thanks.